Hello guys, welcome back to a new tutorial, and today we're back in the Unity Pocket Games series. Now, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create the popular game, Pong. The ping pong game. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. It's actually a very old game, but still a good bit of people play it. So let's get right into the tutorial. So how are we going to do this? We're actually going to be using physics instead of code to do this, alright? So first what we want to do is create a new physics material, and we're going to name this collider material. And we need to turn off the friction here, so set this to 0, and then the bounciness needs to be 1. And that's probably pretty good. So let's go ahead and just create the physics for the ball. So let's create a sphere here, a cube under that, and we're going to create this little box here, almost. Let's kind of scale this ball down some. So let's just create a... So right here, this is our playing field. This is where we're going to be playing right here. In these two boxes. Let's move the Pong more to the center, and we can change it up in a minute, but right now it's actually, yeah, this is going to be our playing field. So let's go ahead and add this material right here, this physics material, to all of these. Boom, you can see it's added it right here. Same thing with the sphere, you need to add that. This is going to be the Pong. That's what I'm going to call it, and then we're going to also give it a tag of ball. Okay, so now when we play this, what happens? You will see that our ball is very bouncy. Obviously, we need to actually give it a rigid body and set the angular drag to 0. And use gravity needs to stay on for now. Now if we play this, it bounces. But nothing really happens. It doesn't go back and forth like we want it to. So what do we need to do? We need to play it. And for now, we're just going to turn use gravity off while it falls. And you can see it keeps going. We're going to have a script to handle this right here. But for now, that's how we're going to test it. So this works just fine if we rotate this guy here. Like this guy will be our AI. So it bounces. And we can basically, this is going to be our AI, so we need to create a script for that. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's scale him down. There we go. And why are we using AI instead of real people? Really, it's just because it's easier to do. So let's go ahead and create a new script called AI player. We'll create our player script in a minute, but first we want to take care of the AI. And Visual Studio will pop open. There's a couple of things we need to do here. First, we need to delete these comments right here. These comments need to go. We don't need them. Then we need to add 2 coroutines. So public ID enumerator. There we go. And this one will be rotate. And the next one will be move. There we go. Now, we also need to add a couple of variables up here. First, we need a speed. And let's set that equal to 10. And we also need a quadratine. There we go. A quadrian. I don't know how to say it. That's okay. And that needs to be named rotate or rotation. That's a better word for it. And next, we also need a boolean. So public bool move, and we'll just say move 1. Because this coroutine down here is called move, so this needs to be called move 1. Alright, so now we need to actually start these coroutines in the start function. So start coroutine, rotate. Same thing down here, except this time it needs to be changed to move. There we go. And now we also need to add a couple of things in these coroutines right here. First, in this rotate coroutine, we need to say rotation equals quaternion, sorry, dot euler. And in here, we're just going to say, random dot rotation dot x plus random dot range between -10 and 10. So why do we need this here? Let's just go set this to 0 and 0. Why do we need this random range thing? Well, this actually this is basically the difficulty right here. It's definitely part of the difficulty. So the more difficult you want it, the higher you'll set it. Alright, so now next thing is to say transform dot rotation equals rotation. Then we need to say yield return new wait for seconds. And we're going to wait 0.5 seconds before starting this coroutine again. And then it'll just loop from there. Sorry if you hear the dog in the background. Now, in the next coroutine, what do we need? We need to say yield return new wait for seconds. And in here, we'll just say random.range between 0.1f and 0.5f. Now, this definitely is your difficulty right here. The lower it is, the harder it is. So the higher it is, the easier it is. So that is very important. Then we need to say move 1 equals true. Same thing, except this time we need to change it to point. Let's just do 0.3f. There we go. And now we say move 1 equals false. Then start coroutine, move. So basically, this is the exact same thing. We're looping it again and again and again and again, just so it can go on forever. Now, in the update function, we need to say if move 1 in here, we need to say this transform.position equals vector3.lerp from this transform.position to new vector3. This transform, there we go. This transform.position.x. This transform.position.y. And now we need to say game object dot find game object with tag. Let's go back here. Dot find game object with tag ball. So if you remember, we renamed or retagged the ball or the Pong to be to have the tag ball. So now we just say dot transform dot position dot z for z or z, whichever one you prefer. Now, next thing in this little lerp function here is to say time.delta time times speed. There we go. This is it right here. So this is our moving function. So this is our AI finished. Let's go over it. So we have the speed here, and this is a good thing to set to 10. It's a pretty easy speed. It's hard, definitely, but that's okay. This rotation here, quaternion, this quaternion right here, This is our rotation. So this is how we're going to rotate. So if you remember, if we rotate side to side, the ball will hit into random directions. The public will move. This is for this down here, and the reason we actually need this is to where we can lerp instead of just I guess teleport to that position. And in here we start the coroutine, rotation and move. And this is basically for random rotation. So quaternion right here. This is for the random rotation. Again, this sets the random rotation, and then we loop it. And this coroutine right here, we have a random range, so we wait, we turn, move on, we wait a couple of seconds, then we turn it off, and then we loop it. So that's it for this script here. So if we play this, let's see what happens. That's right, so we actually need to set this ourselves. Let's play it again. There we go. So now it's ready. And this is okay. So this is our AI now. We're going to scale him down because he takes up half the space. So there we go. That's probably good right there. Let's save the scene as tutorial Pong. Alright, so now we're going to actually create our Pong script here, so the ball script, so that we can control the ball instead of having to do the rigid body ourselves, which can get very annoying. Alright, so let's create a new script called ball or Pong, whichever one you want. I'm calling the ball Pong for no reason. The game is called Pong, so I'm guessing the ball is called that. I'm not really sure. So let's reload this. And in here, we're going to have a coroutine. So there we go. So we're going to delete the update function. Actually, we're going to keep it. We're just going to delete the comments right here. We don't really need them, and they take up space. So what we're going to do is add a coroutine right here. A numerator Pong ball. That's what we're going to call this coroutine. And we're just going to wait. Let's do about 0.5 seconds. Then we're going to say this .get component rigid body dot use gravity equals false. Okay. Now down here, what we're going to say is pretty simple. We're actually going to speed the ball up as time goes. Okay. So as time goes by, we're going to speed the ball up. So we're going to say this .get component rigid body dot velocity plus equals new vector 3 0. Then we're going to see 0.01 and 0. Okay. So this is our script here. It's pretty simple. And now if we play this, the AI should automatically go. And so should the ball. And it doesn't because we've not assigned the script here. Well, we have. Let's see what the problem is. We haven't started the coroutine. So let's go ahead and start the coroutine. Pong ball. There we go. And if we play this, now we should see it automatically works without us having to do anything. There we go. You can see it works just fine. And again, if you want to, you can actually speed the ball up a bit. Well, you can add a bit more velocity to it, and then it'll speed up as time goes by even more. So if we set this to like that right there. It didn't save, but that's okay. Save it. It can get pretty fast. As you can see, it's definitely going a lot faster than before. let's create our player. So let's just scale this one down a bit, about like that. There we go, and rename it player. And let's add a new script called player. And this is going to be a simple script, a very simple script. No coroutines, no nothing like that. All we need is the update function. So let's go ahead and delete the start function and all the comments because they're very annoying sometimes. They can be useful in scripts where there's a large project, or either if you want to go back through the code and tidy it up, then they're very useful. But when you're starting up a script, they're not very useful. I wish there was a option to get rid of them. So we're going to say input.getKey, key code, and you can either do the up arrow or W, which I use W, A, S, and D for the games that I play. Always, I never like to use arrow keys. So that's what I'm going to do. You guys can change it if you want to. Let's change this one to S. And then this one, we're just going to say this.transform.translate. Yes, I'm using translate. And we're just going to say this.transform. And we're going to have to guess. So I'm going to guess forward because that's what I'm going to guess. And I'm just going to say times 0.1f. And I'm going to copy it, paste it, and then just put negative here. And that should work just fine. Now, there is something that we may need to change, or we will need to change. That's obviously the camera position. So let's go ahead and see, does this work? It doesn't really do anything. Let's go ahead and see what the problem is. It seems as if there's a bit of a problem here, so let's save this. Go to the Pong, and we're going to actually change it to wait a bit longer, so about 0.8 seconds. And let's also move him up a bit. That should work fine. And you're just going to have to keep doing testing until it works. Works alright. So instantly it works here for me, which is nice. I have to look in the editor, though, and that's kind of annoying. So let's also go to the Pong and change the velocity, because that is very, very, very annoying right here. So let's change the velocity to be about that, because it's very fast. And let's set our camera position. So let's go ahead and take the camera. So select the camera. Click Game Object, Align with View, and then Rotate. And this is going to make it look very weird. Like, very weird, but that's okay. Let's do this. There we go. And we're going to have to move it a bit to get it perfectly aligned. There we go. That's all right. And now what we want to do is change the color of the sky to be black. There we go. And if we played this now, this works. This is a working game, but we don't have so let's change this up a bit. It's actually the opposite that needs to happen in the player. So we're actually going, when I press W, we go down. So we just need to change this. There we go. This is a game, right? But we don't actually have any game mechanics, and so there's no goals. And so let's go ahead and do that. Just add a cube. Scale it right just about there, I'd say. There we go. Same thing down here. Actually, instead of duplicating it, we need to add everything here. So let's go ahead and do this. So let's add a script called goal. And let's open that up. Alright, now this script isn't long, but there is a trigger function in it, so it's not normal, but that's okay. So let's delete both of these, and let's add the trigger function, so public void on trigger, enter, And in the parameters, collider, other. And we need to add a couple of things in here. First of all, we need to say public game object, ball, and public int goals. Okay. Now what we can do is say if other.gameObject.tag equals ball. There we go. Then we're going to say destroy other.gameObject. And then after that, goals plus equals 1. And you might be thinking, oh, wait a minute. You should say goal 1 and goal 2, but we don't need that. I'll show you why in a minute. Then we're going to need instantiate a new ball at gameObject.find. And we're going to find the ball spawn point. So just call it spawn point. .transform.position. Same thing, but with the rotation. Okay, so this is going to work right here. Let's just go into Unity, turn the is trigger on, turn the mesh render off, and let's wait a minute. Let's actually save this. Play. Sorry, not play. Yeah, let's play it for a second. If you didn't know, playing it reloads the script. Let's assign the Pong into the prefabs folder. There we go. And this should work just fine. Duplicate it. Move it down. There we go. And now we need to add the scoring system. So let's go ahead and add a new UI text. And let's go to the opposite side of this. There we go. And we need to move it about there anyway. Change the color to be white. Change the font style to be bold. And let's actually move these guys a little bit. Let's move them a little bit to this side here. And also, we're going to be changing their materials later, so this should be okay. Alright. Now what we want to do is change the font size. And let's also just set it to be 0. And let's change the font size to be about there. Duplicate it. There we go. And this is going to be renamed to 1. This one 2. Save it. And then on the canvas, this is our last script for the game. And we're going to call it goals or goal manager. Let's call it goal manager. And now we need to say in here, let's delete everything but the update function. There we go. And we'll say public int goals for 1, public int goals 2. And then in the update function, we just need to say gameObject.find 1 .getComponent text, and I will go ahead and import the UI here. There we go. Text equals goals 1 plus that. There we go. Copy it, paste it, change it to 2, change it to 2 over here. And then we need to set goals 1 and goals 2. So goals 1, goals 2. And this is going to equal gameObject.find goal 1 .getComponent goals plus, actually we don't need that, sorry. Okay, so let's do that. Duplicate it, paste it down here, equals that, goal 2, Boom. This is our script. Now, there might be a slight problem, a slight issue with this, but we can obviously change it. We just have to see. So let's let him make a goal. And nothing happened, unfortunately. See what the problem was. No reference. Spawn point doesn't exist. That's right, it does not exist. Create empty. Move it to the Pong position. Rename it. Spawn point. Now we can play it, and this should work just fine. Let's let him get a goal, and we'll see if this works. Nope. I found an issue. Goal 1 and goal 2 were not named, so go ahead and name those. Now if we play this, should work a bit better now. Yes, it works, but there's another problem. This ball here, it turns everything off. And that's a big problem. So let's go ahead and go into our code here, into our Pong. And we need to figure out why this is happening. Why is it turning it off? Why is it turning the Pong script off? Why is it turning anything off? So I think there's actually an issue. Let's go to our goals. And it needs to be changed to this right here. There we go. Let's play it now. Yep, there we go. That works better. So now that we have done that, let's see if we can get another. Let's actually see if we can win. There is no winning mechanism. It just goes on forever, but that's okay. Go ahead. Let's see if we can win. It's pretty hard. I've done multiple tests to see if I can win, but pretty difficult right here.
6 hours later.
So he's actually won. He's doing better than me right now. It's been a little while. And he's winning. Now that's okay. Now let's do something else. Let's actually add a couple of materials to make this look a lot better. So let's add a white material. There we go. Don't want to do that. A black material. And we're going to change it to unlit color. Same thing over there, unlit color. That one stays white. This one changes to black. And now we're going to assign the black to these two things right here. So you can't actually see them. And the white needs to be assigned to everything else. So that. Whoop, and that right there. Now when you play this, it looks a lot cooler than it did before. And for some reason, the ball is going a lot faster. That's okay. And let's go ahead and apply the prefab. And that is it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.